Comicast 272. TNM. No, I don't know. TNTM. The show presento Comicast 272 with your host Pablo Gunner, and I am here to talk nerdy to you about this week's comics, which is February 8th, 2017, and we are live here in Casa de Gunner in the comic book room. It's the Beat Laboratory. No, that's the bedroom. The editing bay. It's the Nerd Cave. Yeah. So, anyways, I'm Pablo Gunner. I'm just a random dude who buys comics every week and I review them. And so I have this awesome grade scale that goes strong by, weak by, strong skim, weak skim, or strong skim, skim, and then weak skim, and then pass. And then the best book of the week is the back and bag of the week, Bebow, aka Bebow. And we also have a runner-up. And you also hear me say things like, oh, this is a contender for Bebow or back and bag. And I also have a little timer. Since I'm by myself, it's just a 1-minute timer. And so when it goes off, that tells me it's time to wrap things up. And here's the tone for this week. So, yeah, that means it's time for me to shut up. Also, halfway through, we're going to have a commercial break about one of our sponsors, which you heard about at the top of the show, unless you're watching this live. So, yeah, let me whip out my books, because I haven't even whipped out my books. I know I'm running behind here, folks. Sorry, my fellow nerds. I apologize for the lateness, but the wife and I now have the same days off, so you know how that goes. It's chaos, and so yeah. So that's how things are going right now. Got home late, So, but like I said, here I am, and I'm ready to get started with Red Sonja number 2, published by Dynamite. The writer is Amy Chu. The artist is Carlos Gomez, and then colored by Mohan. And this one's crazy because it actually has this past battle with her and this wizard and stuff, and then you see that she's in the present time, like New York, and she's hunting geese, and she kills one with a freaking, like, her own spear. Oh my god. It's freaking crazy. And then this dude, this police officer that knows her language somehow, he's there talking to her. She goes to a bar, actually, and she's challenging dudes for wrestling and stuff. They get all mad, and she's like, okay, maybe this place isn't that different from what I'm used to, So, but of course, these bad guys, they come to get her, and her friend comes to help. So, yeah. And she's naked. Like, legit, straight up naked. In fact, there's one point where you see, like, a faraway nipple. And then you get the police officer's backstory, which was pretty interesting. Yeah, but it looks amazing. It looks fantastic. I'm really digging it now. And it's not the nudity. Which was there's like, whatever. It's whatever. Like, you want some real art nudity, you look up some hentai or something like that. But anyways, so I'm gonna give this one. I'm really liking it. It's not like the best thing that's out there, but it is really top notch. I'm gonna give it a buy. Okay, I'm gonna give it a buy. All right. On to the next book, Dr. Aphra. It's Star Wars Dr. Aphra number 4, The Quattro. Kieran Gillen is the writer, Kev Walker on pencils, then Mark Deering on inks, and then Antonio Fabela as colors. Now, this artist is not my taste. He's just not my bag, And so, or is it bad? I think it's bad. But anyways, it still looks good. Like, even though it's not like particularly like my favorite, it's still, there's parts where I'm like, man, this looks amazing. But anyways, so you have Afra and her dad, and they're like, all right, we got found out because these troopers, are surrounding them and stuff. And but they get on their ship and stuff, and they're going to this planet. And honestly, like, I skimmed this before I bought it. It wasn't on my list because I'm like, I don't like the art that much. I mean, like I said, I'm not in love with it. It's not my favorite. But I skimmed through it and I saw the ending and I was like, you know what? I'm going to buy this book just for the ending. And I was like, I still am not sure if it's worth it because I feel like I could have just skipped to the next book. But this is the best looking issue so far, I think. The art actually really impressed me in this issue. And I'm really interested because this goes into like Jedi and Sith history, like lore. And that's what I want to see more and more and more of. And so that gets me pretty jacked off, mostly for the next issue. But this issue, like I said, the art was really good. The story is really interesting. There's some good parts between the dad and the daughter, too, as well as like this Imperial officer that's trying to catch them. That, she lost them. And you know how they deal with failure in the Empire. So, yeah. But I don't know, like, it's not quite exactly what I wanted. It's almost there. I feel like the next issue will be Bebow material, but this one is definitely. I still want to give this one a strong buy, but and not a Bebow contender. Okay. Oh, guess what? I give all the free digital codes. I give all the free digital codes away, and there's one right here. And these ones, I've been tempted to keep one for myself because you can get an issue from Invincible Iron Man, Volume 3, Civil War, Number 2, or All New, All Different Avengers, Number 3, Volume 3, Civil War 2, or Cloak and Dagger, Shadows of Light, which I want to get an issue of that. But, you know what? I'm not going to be selfish. Y'all are lucky I'm not selfish. So, I'm going to give this code away. Here it is. T for Tomas, W for Huerito, and for Marcos, R for Rigoberto, P for Pablito, E for Iluterio, D for Diego, B for Burrito, I for Inigo, F for Franco, 0, and then O for Omario. I just say things, I don't know. So yeah. Next, it is Batgirl and the Birds of Prey number 7. It's $2.99. Julie Benson and Shauna Benson are the writers, and then we have Claire Rowe as the artist, and then Pasalacqua Alan. I want to say it's Alan Pasalacqua on colors. This one actually ended up to be a straight up like filler issue where it's just like the squad and they're going on a mission together and they all decide like, Huntress, she's gonna stay in town. She stays with Black Canary and like she doesn't even have a bed. She's just like, yeah, you can just lay on my clothes and on the living room. But anyways, like they are. So her Barbara, her place has been broken into like a few times, and she finds out that these realtors, her realtors, are trying to break in because they found out that there's like treasure in her house or something like that, and so that's why they're trying to break in. And so the way they get this information is by having Huntress and Black Canary go undercover with these realtors to find their own place. And it's great because she finds it and she gives it to a charity and stuff like that. So like I said, it's 100% like filler, but it was so good considering it was filler. Like, it looks great, it's just fun, enjoyable, there's not too much weight on it, especially after everything that just happened. you just kind of got the feeling of, we need some relaxation time, something that's not so heavy, some downtime kind of. So this really worked for me. Like I said, but at the same time, it's, there is a difference between that and like that, oh my God, this is super intense, climax type stuff. And so it's hard to judge on the same level. I'm gonna continue the theme going. Sorry, folks, but I'm gonna give it a strong vibe, but not a contender. I know I'm being anal, but what can I say? Next, it is Power Man and Iron Fist number 13. David F. Walker is the writer. Elmo Bondoc is the artist, so different artist, but similar enough. Jean Rauch is the color artist, and I believe that's the color artist we've had for a while. But it works because this story is like a lot of flashbacks. It actually has Dontrell, and he is talking to Black Mariah, and he's like, you know what, let's just leave together, and then they have this funeral for Piranha Jones, and Luke Cage even shows up, and he's like, the guys are like, what are you doing here? He's like, I'm just showing my respect, and stuff like that, and then there's this other kid that got wrapped up in this, and so he's talking to the police, and he's like, you know what, you guys are putting too much pressure on me, and I don't even need to be here anymore because Alex cleaned my record anyways, so I'm out of here. And then Luke Cage and Iron Fist come in and same thing, like they're freaking putting the pressure on him, and they're like, we're cooperating with you, like why are you guys being dicks? So that's essentially the situation there. You get some Senor Magico because someone's trying to get some more street magic. So it's really good. It's just really, really good stuff. But all these people are trying to up their game because they're like, all right, this guy has magic, so we need to up our magic game too. So Tombstone's trying to do that, as well as Power Man and Iron Fist. And the ending result is really crazy, especially with Alex. So it looks insane, and I can't wait for the next issue. This one was freaking awesome. Like I said, the art is it's different, but it's consistent enough that it flows well with the overall look and tone of the way the book has been going this entire time. So I really can't complain. And of course, you got Senor Magico in there. That's always a great, great thing. So this one, you know what? I don't know. That ending was just so good that I feel like it deserves a contender. I have that feeling, I just sense it. Or am I sensing what the next issue is going to be? I'm going to give this one a strong buy and a contender for Back in Bag of the Week. I'm also going to give away the digital code, so tell me what you think. Don't be a loser. Don't be a douche. Tell me what you think of it. Because because the thing is when I don't hear from people, it really makes me question about giving them away. At least on Facebook or Instagram or Twitter, I can get a favorite or a like or a comment or something like that. When I give it on here, no one says anything to me. So I don't even know if y'all are enjoying these books that I give away for free out of my own generosity, especially when I want some of them. Like this Cloak and Dagger right here. All right. F for fan, C for camera, M for millennial, H for hotel, Q for quill, 640, Y for yank, D for dank, 6, U for until. On to the next book we got here. It is All-Star Batman at number 7. This is actually $5. And there's multiple stories here, but they're all written by Scott Schneider. The first story, though, is called Enzia, the Part 2. Tula Lotte is the pencils, inks, and colors. And this is about Poison Ivy, and she's at this tree and stuff, and it's really interesting how, like, I really like her because she dances, like, she's a villain, but she also's been lately, like, dancing that line more of, like, the anti hero or yeah, and stuff like that. So, anyways, Batman goes to her because he's like, hey, this disease, happened with Captain Cold, but, one of this girl, she still has the disease and now it's spreading to other people, so I need your help because I think you might have a cure. And she's like, yeah, you're right. I have this, there's this plant, some people think it might be like the tree of life or something like that, or one of the trees and stuff. And this crew actually, so he protects her and stuff like that while he's trying to get her help. And then it continues with the other story with the Riddler, which the art is by Francesco Francavilla. Freaking amazing with Duke, and he's trying to figure out with Riddler. So, turns out he's actually in, like, the simulation room or mud room. I'm not sure exactly. But he's also trying to figure out clues to this. And it's really interesting because this Duke is very different from any of the Robins. And I really like how they're drawing that line in this and everything else. So I really like this. This was really good. This was really interesting. I will say the first story too, like, something that he had similar, this theme going on that, like, was similar with the previous issue, is he had an outfit specific for facing Freeze. And then in this one he has an outfit specifically for facing Poison Ivy. And they look like the outfits that they used to have, like, of the figurines, where it was like a different outfit for each situation. And I like that element to it because it reminds me of my childhood nostalgia. You know what I mean? So I gotta give this one a strong buy. Like, when it touches that nostalgia factor, art looks freaking gorgeous, and especially on that first story. The second one, it's really intriguing and interesting. So I'm just digging it all around. I'm a big Schneider fan. So, yeah, I definitely give this one a strong buy and contender, and that's without a doubt right there. So next, we have Inhumans versus X-Men, number 4, and it is Jeff Lemire and Charles Soule writing. Artist is Javier Garron. Colorist David Curiel. And so now the Inhumans are starting to make, like, a comeback in this. Well, there's the Inhumans that are the royal family, essentially, that are stuck in limbo in this, like, bubble. And so they're like, all right, well, if we destroy the land under us, we can maybe get out of this bubble. They're like, sound gets, in and stuff like that, and air, and so we can figure this out. But also the new humans and you are also, rallying together to attack the X-Men and stuff, and break out their friends. And it's really, really interesting, and it's really ramping up in a great way, and it's really getting me scared and they're really making this prevalent that Miss Marvel says, which is, who are the good guys and who are the bad guys? Because the mutants, they just want to live, because if the atmosphere gets saturated with this cloud, they're going to die. They have to leave the planet, those are their options. So it's really, like, right now I'm just feeling like Inhumans are a-holes. Like, I see what the X-Men did to them was extreme, but you got to understand, like, what's going on with them. They're either, their choice is death or leave the planet. So I'm loving this series so far. It's really good. It's really interesting. I can't wait to read the next issue. This one was really awesome, but even more, I want to read the next one. So a book that does that, you've probably heard me say this many times before if you listen to this podcast, if I was excited from the previous issue to read this, I enjoyed this one a lot, and then it gets me really jacked off for the next issue, that's an amazing thing to do. And it's really getting me invested, too, back in the X-Men, which is something I've lost. So this is doing something right, or it's doing a lot of things right. And it looks freaking great, too. Javier Garron is an amazing artist, but he's doing different stuff in this. His art's a little bit different, but not in a bad way at all. So yeah, I have to give this one a strong buy and contender as well. And here is a digital code. U for ugly, K for kill, G for George, B for Bravo, 2, C for Charlie, F for Foxtrot, X for X-ray, W for Wesker, 5, L for Logan, and G for Guile. Next, it is Superman Action Comics 973. This is $2.99. We have Dan Jurgens as the writer, Patrick Zurcher, and Stepan Segovia as pencils, Patrick Zurcher, and Art Thibert as inks, and then Arif Prianto as colorist. And so this one, Lois goes undercover to find out about that one building that disappeared, I think. And Clark ends up, because she's like involved with some gangsters doing it, like she's this waitress or whatever for these gangsters. She's blonde, she has a wig and stuff. But he goes to the cops and is like, hey, this is going on with her. I need your help and stuff like that. You get a little information from him because she's been checking on him too, as well as Steel brings Superwoman to Superman, and stuff like that. And it's just crazy, this story that's going on. Clark kind of ruins it, but I think it was going to happen anyways. But it's really interesting. It's really intense. I'm really liking it. Art was really fantastic. I feel like it could have been a little more emotion in the faces, but what there was done really well. So this one I will have to say is super interesting with Clark, because it's like he almost seems like he's a ghost. Clark Kent that is separate from Superman. So yeah, and then you have Lana Lang, who is Lana Lang, who is Superwoman, but she's dying because she has the powers of Superman. So yeah, it's really interesting on both ends, and I'm really liking it. It seems like it's kind of a new arc, but of course carrying from elements from previous storylines. Art, like I said, the art is a little off, and therefore I give it a strong buy, but not a contender. And you know what that means, folks? Time for a commercial break. And it's time to talk about my homeboys over at the Age of Comics. I went over there the other day, and by God, it was so busy on a Wednesday. Like, that place is getting busier all the time. You know why? Because they focus on comics, and that's their focus, and they take care of it and deal with it. Because, like statues, figurines, that's the kind of stuff, like, you don't have to be an expert in that necessarily, in like statues and figurines necessarily to sell them, certain ones, yes, you do, but if that's all you're focusing on, like, it's easy to focus on comics. But they know their comics. Like, you ask them and they'll be like, hey man, what do you think about this comic? Oh yeah, it was really good, And they'll be straight up with you too. Like, they're not the kind of guys that'll be like, oh, everything's good, everything's great. No, like, legitimately one of the guys was like, hey, what do you think about this book? And he's like, it's just not doing it for me. Like, ever since, this person, did their own thing, I'm just not digging it anymore, And I'm like, what? I've never heard a comic book owner say that when they own a comic book shop. It's like, aren't you trying to sell those comics off your shelf? And he wasn't like trashing it, but he was honest. And me, if you know anything about me, like that's a huge thing for me, is honesty. And so I love that. And so you're honest with me, like that's a great reason for me to want to do business with you. I'm willing to spend an extra buck, just because you are honest with me, when it comes to things. And so that means a lot, especially honesty with customers. Age of Comics, they're located in Albuquerque, New Mexico, off of Osuna and San Mateo in a little shopping center. And so, like I said, they carry figurines, a lot of classic stuff and retro stuff. that if you're a 90s kid or even 80s kid, you'll definitely want to buy their stuff. In fact, it makes me want to complete my collection of, gosh, what is it? Of Galactus, yeah, of the Legends series, because I think they have most of them. But they have Funko Pops. They have tons of Funko Pops. So many great ones. In fact, I think I got one from them, maybe. I've gotten a few from them, actually. So yeah, and they have all kinds of graphic novels. They're super great. Like I said, if you subscribe to them, they'll hook you up, and they'll give you, I think it's, like, the more books that you get, the better discount you get. And there's different tiers. So, like, I think there's, there's this silver, there's a bronze age, there's a silver age, and then there's gold. And gold is the highest. I think it's like 15%, 10%, and then 5%. So it's better to get more books. But yeah, like I said, those guys are just, salt of the earth, as they say. I never understood what that means, but I know that's good. So definitely do business with those guys. Get a box with them, because you will get the books, that you need. And that's the thing, too, is if you get a book that you're like, hey, man, this isn't my book, or, I didn't order this. They're like, all right, no problem. We'll throw it on the shelf. Like, they're not arguing with you, you know what I mean? Like, these guys they just do good business. They're just good dudes. So make sure you follow them on Facebook, too, because they do giveaways for movies, usually, for premieres and stuff like that. And they also have events, like I think they did one with Urban Hot Dog Company one time where they were giving away hot dogs there, and they had like a movie showing or something. It was really cool, and they do stuff with Gamers Anonymous, too, sometimes. So they're a really good place to go to. A lot of people go there because they're just really great. All right, back to book, my fellow nerds. Comic book nerds, nerdlings. Let's do this. With Miss Marvel number 15. Love this cover. It's so cool. It's all like, Mario, 8-bit, 16-bit. It's really neat. So anyways, yeah, G. Willow Wilson is the writer, Takeshi Miyazawa is the artist, and then Ian Herring as the color artist. So, yeah, this one she's been missing because something happened to her, and so she's late to class, and they're like, man, where you been, and stuff like that. They're all worried about her and stuff. And then there's this girl that's like, she's really lonely, and so she befriends her. And then oh man, this thing's really creepy. This really goes into like cyber bullying and cyber stalking on a creepy level that like really, really gets in your head. It's freaking nuts. And so I love it. And this person's just playing her like somehow like hacking people and stuff and tricking her into attacking people. It's really, really weird and really, really interesting. And I'm really digging it. Like, it's just so smart and it's so psychological and it just blows my freaking mind. I have no idea like who the villain is, but I'm really, really loving it. And this is just top notch. Like, this is one of the best series out there, period. So I give this one a strong buying contender without a doubt. And here's a digital code. Tell me what you think of it, because it's a great book. I mean, come on. Even if you're just going to regurgitate my own words right back at me, something, I want to hear from you all that get these codes. Anyways, F for Familia, C for Carlos, M for Marcos, Q for Quintana, 0, S for Senor, 5, W for Juanita, J for Juanita, another J for Juanita, K for Kill, L for Lupita, and then another J for Juanita. On to Batman Detective Comics number 950. This is $3.99, and that's because it's an oversized anniversary special. And so the first one is actually about, I think James Tynion does all the stories. Writing. I could be wrong, but we'll get to that later. Anyways, so yeah, this one's about Orphan. and how she's like been shadowing this girl that's a ballerina, and it's so good. It's called Prologue: Shadow of a Tear. James Tynion is the writer, Marcio Takara is the artist, Dean White as colors, and it looks so amazing, and it's just her point of view, which is done so well, so amazingly well. I love it because it's from her point of view. It's good because this book needed a focus on her, and you get it here. It's very well needed, and how she analyzes everybody on the team too, and everything like that. It's really, really perfect. The second story is also written by James Tynion, but the pencils are Alvaro Martinez, Raul Fernandez's inks, and then Brad Anderson is colors. And this one is about Azrael and Nightwing, and he's like, how did you beat the simulation? Even Batman can't beat it. And he's like, well, I have this suit, and that, the Saint Dumas gave me and stuff like that. Even though it was kind of messed up what they did to me, like, I just give myself up to a higher power, and it helps me defeat these people. And that one's a TBC. Like, all these are TBC leading to something bigger. That one was really great, too, because it was from Azrael's point of view, and also had Nightwing, so it had some focus on him, too, which these are both characters that need some time as well. Now, the last one, written by James Tynion IV, but penciled by Eddie Barrows, and then inked by Eber Ferreira, and then colored by Adriano Lucas. This one is a flashback story where Batman had a talk with Tim, and Tim was like, what are you prepping all of us for? Like, you have all these different teams. It's like you're going to make your own Justice League separate from us, and you have me building this thing, so I don't have time to focus on the Teen Titans, and now you're telling Damian that he should go, with the Teen Titans, or motivating him to, be with people his age, essentially take over for him. And that one's pretty short, but it's really interesting, and it's really messed up because he doesn't end up telling him. And I'm like, maybe Tim would have been more prepared for what happened to him if Batman would have told him. Batman's messed up that way because he doesn't tell everything, that he's doing. But anyways, like, it's so good. This one is a strong buy. Totally worth the money. Like, that's things I don't like usually paying more, but it's only $4. It's not like a Marvel book where they like to sometimes throw in, a little cartoon at the end and add $1 to it on top of the $1 that they already add to their books because they give digital codes away, which to me makes it worth that extra $1. But when they tack on an extra $1 for some little cartoon that I didn't like, that's BS. That's not the case with this. It's only $3.99, and I loved every single page of it. Good variety, good focus on different characters, which this was much needed, and I loved it. So I have to give it, it's a League of Shadows prologue, strong buy contender. Next, it is The Unworthy Thor, number 4. And the writer is Jason Aaron. We have Olivier Coipel with Kim Jacinto as doing art on present day. And then Fraser Irving doing Young Thor. Then Isad Ribic doing Worthy Thor. And then Russell Dodderman doing Unworthy Thor. And then color artist Matthew Wilson, Matt Mia, and Fraser Irving. And so it starts with like him, and he's young and he's unworthy, and he's just like obsessed with pulling this thing. And his mom's like, give it a rest, it's going to be there. Anyways, then you see some present time with his hair all cut, fighting, these minions of Thanos and stuff like that, as well as of the Collector. And he's trying to get this other Mjolnir, the ultimate Mjolnir. Then you see the Worthy Thor, and he's actually with Jane Foster, and she's like, why are you so obsessed with this hammer? And he's like, I'm just afraid it took me so long to be worthy. I'm so afraid that I'm not worthy one of these days. I'm going to wake up and not be worthy. And, and he's like, I have to keep on continuing to do what I got to do to be worthy. So good. Like I said, all the while it keeps on going to present day and him going like, man, I can hear this hammer screaming and stuff, for me. And then this part with um, Jane, and she's with him, and she's all has cancer and stuff, and she's talking to him, and he's just not hearing her because he's just Odin's son, That was when he first was going by Odin's son. Now he's like really motivated and stuff to get this Mjolnir. And the way that it ends, it's awesome, but we'll see what happens next because I really don't know what's going to happen. But I am so jacked off about it, I'll tell you that. This book was so freaking good, and this is how you do multiple artists, right? And especially when you do different time periods. I mean, if one artist can do that, then by God, you're a phenomenal artist. But when you throw in multiple artists and they're all different, and it's done well and it's done right, they're colossal different visually, I love that even better. Like, hey, this is this era, this is this era, man, this is just brilliant. They're killing it on this book. Jason Aaron is, all these artists. It's just a superb, phenomenal, terrific book. So I give this one a strong buy and a contender, without a doubt. You ought to know it's got a code. So tell me what you think of it, because this is a great book. Please. You better tell me, because I'll stop giving them away on here if you don't tell me what they are. I will. I'll give them away other ways. There's other ways to get rid of these codes. Hell, I could just keep them for myself if I wanted to. But anyways, here it is. F for Fandango, Z for Zing, M for Million, G for Gazillion, J for Jackalope, K for Kill, R for Richter, D for Dave, I for Inca, A for Alvin, Fury, and then Q for Quill. Next, it is The Flash, number 16, which is $2.99. Joshua Williamson is the writer. Carmine Di Giandomenico is the artist. Ivan Placencia, colorist. Man, this book is so freaking good. So, Flash is I couldn't find them. I don't know where they're at. And then he talks to Iris West, and he's like, boom, I got an idea. I think this was their last score. What did they steal? And he starts all right, well, what did they steal? And it was the biggest ones, And then he goes and he's like, well, if this is their last heist and they're leaving the city, then what would I do if I was leaving the city? He's like, oh, I'd visit the grave of my parents or something, And so that's what he does, is he goes to Rory's house, Heatwave, and he's there with flowers and stuff, and he tries to distract him. And he's like, whatever, even if one of us gets caught, it's fine. But he ends up getting away. But the Flash is the Flash. But I don't know. Cold is cold. He's always well prepared. He's the smartest one. There's a reason he's the leader. That's all I'm going to say. It ends on a freaking amazing cliffhanger. I will have to say, though, the art is mind-blowing. I love this art because just the way he shows the kind of the Speed Force or the electricity kind of reminds me almost of Dragon Ball Z, where it's the electricity sparking off of him, but it's different because it's speed based, even when he's not moving, it's just it's there. It's so wicked. I will say it still does kind of bug me that it's where is Wally? And if you're reading Teen Titans, you know where Wally is, but they don't mention it, and that bugs me. Because it's well, you have help. Where is he? Mention it. You know what I mean? That's irritating because you've had Wally this whole time to help you, and all of a sudden you're not even mentioning it. So that's something that carried on, and I was hoping they would mention in this one since they didn't mention it in the last one, but they didn't. And maybe they're holding out for the next issue for him to show up and kind of save the day. Maybe. Maybe that's what it's about. And if that's the case, then maybe I'll be fine with it. But this one, oh man, it's so good. It's so good that I still have to give it a strong buy and contender. It just looks freaking insanely, I'm just awestruck when I look at it. I can just stare at the images for days almost. So, anyways, last book, definitely not least, Hal Jordan and the Green Lantern Corps number 14, $2.99. We have writer Robert Venditti, penciler Rafa Sandoval, inker Jordi Tarragona, colorist Tomei Murray, or Tomu Murray, I don't know. But yeah, so we have Guy Gardner, and he's shaking down this guy who is a smuggler, essentially, and he's like, hey, I need some info. And then you have the Yellow Corps, or the Sinestro Corps, and the Green Lantern Corps, and they're like, all right, we have this meeting to figure out the deets on combining our forces and being together. And they're like, we're gonna partner up on sectors, and we're gonna have one green and one yellow together. But unfortunately, the yellow, they are weaker. Like, their numbers are less, so they're going to try to recruit people. And they also kind of have somewhat of a loss of power. So it's like, well, how are they going to do it unless they have fear to run their rings? And then Hal is like, sorry, but I got a dip, with Kyle, and we have this mission to do by the Guardians to go find a shred of hope. And it's like, well, Kyle's can track it since he has a tap into all of the spectrums because he's the white. He has the white ring or whatever. He can tap into all of them. And it's funny. I like Kyle because he's really funny. He has some cheesy jokes. Art is freaking amazing in this book, and it's intense. That was one thing, is like, this book had me on the ropes for like intensity. It was like boom, 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 boom. Like, it was just so intense. So, man, that intensity gets me, and the visually just looks so freaking good. And there's different things going on. I totally dig it. It's freaking amazing. Like, you've heard us, rep this book before, and we dig it. And it's been a strong buy a lot of the time. This is another book that is one of the best books out right now. So this is a strong buy contender as well. That's it. Time for me to announce my back and bag of the week. So many freaking good books. It is just pure insanity. I don't even know what to do. Oh, man, I don't know what to pick. I really, really do not. This is a really tough week for me to pick back and bag of the week. Man, it's so tough. Miss Marvel got me like really scared and emotional, but yeah, I don't know. Jeez. You know what? I'm gonna go with gosh dang it. I don't know. I'm racking my brain here. I have Thor. I have Batman Detective Comics. I have Flash. You know what? I'm gonna take that one out. And I have Hal Jordan. So now it's down to these three. Let's see. You know what? I'm gonna take out the Hal Jordan. I'm sorry, but I'm doing it. Runner up, Batman Detective Comics. It is just so freaking amazing. Like I said, I loved the different focused stories. I've pretty much said it already why I think it's so freaking amazing. It's really great, and the fact that it's a lead up to something else, when I feel like they all stand on their own without being lead ups. But I'm gonna have to go with my back and bag being the Unworthy Thor number 4. Like I said, there's the different art styles, and that does it for me. But even more than that is this charging of Thor. Like, you hear these stories, and I feel like they're building up this Unworthy Thor to make him worthy, pretty much. Like, he's like, hearing these stories of the hammer doesn't make the man. And I just feel like it's time, and I hope it really is. I hope it really is time for him to become the wielder of the ultimate Mjolnir, because I feel like at this point, he is worthy. This man is worthy of the hammer right now. This is a man that is on a mission, and I love seeing this, and it is so great. As well as just seeing Jane throughout the years, like when they were together, when they were young, and then now that she has cancer, and how she said that her mom had cancer. And I'm like, man, this is so messed up. Like, but it's so good at the same time. And just this battle that rages on, because Beta Rebels with him, and Thori, and oh, it's just ridiculous. And he has one of his goats at the end. So it's just so good. Because, spoiler alert, at the end, he grabs Ultimate Mjolnir. Now, is he going to be able to raise it or not in the next issue? That's what I want to know, and that's what I'm looking forward to. I hope he can, because we've been seeing him fight for it this entire time. And I want to see who this villain is, this hooded villain. I have an idea, but I don't know, and it would be perfect timing if all of a sudden he was able to wield it and then either take on this enemy or destroy them. That would be freaking amazing as the finale for this series. Because I think the next issue is the last one, but I'm not sure. It doesn't say it's a limited series, but I thought it was. So, it says to be concluded. You know, not continued, but concluded. So, yeah. So, that's it. Tell me what your back and bag is, as well as, like I said, tell me what you think of these books that I give the digital codes away. Because I was so tempted to keep one of these books for myself. I know that I missed one book, which was the JLA, the new JLA, which is, it seems like it's Batman's JLA. You know what? I don't believe I saw it at Twins or Age of Comics, and I was really tempted to just buy it digitally so that I could review it for you all. But as I said, I was already running late. In fact, I finished my comics like right before I got home, pretty much, like 30 minutes before I got home, maybe less than that, like 15 minutes. But yeah. So also, I got this book that I missed last week, the Totally Awesome Hulk number 15. I'm gonna do a written review and be giving that away. I don't know, probably on Instagram, just because it posts to Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. It hits 3. Now, it would be my personal Facebook that it would show up on, not the Facebook page, unfortunately. I don't know how to do that. But anyways, and I'll be doing a written review of that. And I know that the second issue of that, or of this arc, came out this week, but I hadn't read this yet, so I didn't know if it would be worth picking up, and it is. I should have. So I'll definitely be picking up number 16 and probably giving away the code for that one and doing a written review for that as well. And tell me, folks, tell me if you like my written reviews or not, because if you don't like my written reviews, I just won't bother doing the time. I mean, I do written reviews more for myself because I want to be a writer, and that's my way of just like doing writing. I like writing, and so that's my way to get in my daily writing. So, or weekly or whatever. I mean, I want to write every day so that I'm practiced, but even though it's a review and not like a story. But anyways, so yeah, I just wanted to talk nerdy with you all, since this is kind of a short one, just to say, like, talk about some of the shows. I'm all caught up on the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. LMD. In fact, I had a buddy who on Facebook that was like, I don't really like this LMD stuff. And I'll be honest, it was kind of slow, especially in comparison to the Ghost Rider stuff, because the Ghost Rider stuff was awesome. But I like the LMD stuff. It's, especially now that I'm caught up, it's been really good and really intense. There's some really good twists and turns, and that's what I really like about it. And not to mention, there are some moments where I'm just like, yes! Like, I watch and work, and I'm in my little booth at work, and I'll be like, yes! And because, like, there's this awesome moments. There's a few awesome moments in it. I also finally watched Riverdale, the first episode. I know there's 3 out right now. Actually, I think I watched the first and the second, maybe. And it's here's the deal with Riverdale. It's Archie, but made into a CW show. So that's all I can say. It's like One Tree Hill meets Archie, but updated. So kind of like, somewhat like the new comics, but not exactly. So there's drama in there. I'm liking it. I like it. I'll keep watching it for now. You know, I kind of like that cheesy high school drama stuff, you know. Gets me all in that emo mood so I can listen to some Dashboard Confessional, you know, and cry my soul out. But anyways, yeah, so I like that. I've been watching Voltron, Legendary Defender. I'm not done with the season yet. And I watched the first one. I wanted to do a Talking Nerdy vlogcast for it. But I don't think I'm going to do Talking Nerdy vlog. I mean, obviously I haven't done them in a long time, which I don't have time to do them. But I think I'm just going to do like an actual vlog cast. where I'm legitimately not showing like footage, and if I do show footage, it's gonna be a quick snippet, so that it doesn't take me long to put these videos out. It's mostly just gonna be me talking, kind of like this. But short, like maybe 8 to 10 minutes long of me talking about my weekly stuff because honestly, I don't know what's going on, but you know, I'm gonna straight up call them out on this and be honest, which is I don't have a lot of friends. I'm kind of like, I have JD and stuff, but Tonebone, he has a family and a kid and stuff. So and we have different days off. And then JD has family. He has kiddos too. That's why he's not on this week. And then it's just like people are busy. I guess they have all their own life's drama and stuff like that. So I have this need to talk nerdy with other nerds, and I need to get it out because it gets bottled up. And I end up talking with my wife, and she doesn't know about any of this crap. She's just like, yeah, all right. She just nods and smiles, keeps me going. But nothing back, because she's not into it. But so I need someone to talk nerdy with. So I think I'm going to try to do vlogcast, but more purely vlog style. But anyways, so yeah. But yeah, Voltron, loving it. I'm like halfway through, and I love it. I just jumped into the second season, didn't watch the previous season, and it sucks you in so good. And it just gets me it gets you into it, gets you on to all the characters and the season, and it just picks up for where it left off so well. Like, not to where you need to. Like, you could just jump. I feel like you could just jump into it and you'd be okay. But you definitely should watch that first season because it's amazing. It's so good. I just want so much Vulture. I love their outfits. I would love to their helmets especially, and just their outfits in general. I really like them. And the characters. I think my favorite though is the dude that voices Finn from Adventure Time, because he's so stupid and he's just all obsessed with girls. Hence stupid. But anyways, yeah. So what else? I've just been playing a crap ton of Mass Effect. I'm really pissed though because I didn't get some achievements that are complete BS, are trophies actually, that I should have gotten, because it's the one where it says you have to play with the soldier class through the whole game, and I used Ashley through the whole game, and I didn't get the trophy. I also played most of the game with the other Alliance dude, Kaiden, but I ended up killing him off, so I knew I wasn't going to get that trophy, and I was like, idiot, I should have used somebody else that was tech besides him, so I could have gotten a trophy for, being with the Quarian. So I'm probably going to have to, do some rush throughs on easy, but I still have to play on hardcore, and I still have to play on insanity to get 100%, as well as a few other ones like weapons and different powers. Those ones are going to be easy to get just because it's a numbers thing. But it's going to be really hard beating it on hard since I'm not using the second playthrough. It's going to be a new playthrough. And then Insanity, I'll use a previous playthrough. That one will be the really, really insane one. But I'm going to try to 100% each game before Andromeda comes out. I don't know if I'm going to be able to do it, but which is weird because at the same time I'm trying to edit videos. We just have a new podcast that I put out, which is Pokemon. It's called Pokemon Phenomenon. And what it's about is these guys that have this campaign to bring back the original cast of voice cast of Pokemon, so they can redo seasons 9 and up because, well, let's be honest, they're just better than the ones that are going on and have been doing it for the last 10 years. I'm sure they've gotten better over time, but if they redid it, I just think it would be better, and so do they. And that's why they have this campaign going on. So, and that's why I did it with these guys. So check it out. It's good stuff. And if you want it, join in. Go and check it out. I have all their links on there. So join the campaign. Doesn't take much to sign up and be part of it and stuff. It's easy stuff. And yeah, as well as I have a video of Tone Bone Japanese or Japan trip. He had a trip to Japan 2016. It's an old podcast, but I've been really busy. So and then once I'm done with that, then I'm going to be moving on to the Albuquerque Comic Con 2017 content, which shouldn't be too difficult because I already have so many things in mind of like the video clips that I want to match with it and everything. Like I think it's just going to work really well. So yeah. That's it. I will shut up now and let you all get back to your video games, unless you're playing video games while you're listening to this, or let you get back to whatever else you're doing nerdy things, hopefully, or work or whatever. So yeah. So make sure you talk nerdy to me, please, por favor. I really hope you do. Or I hate you. No, I won't hate you. It's too much work to hate. But yeah, talk nerd to me, and remember to keep your eyes hungry for comics!